What's up, guys? It's Leaflin. Today, showcasing the Meshtastic. These are two Heltec V3s enclosed in 3D printed cases. These are long-range radios, LoRa devices, and with these you can send messages up to 1.25 kilometers. I say up to 1.25 kilometers because that's the distance I was able to achieve with my setup with two nodes, but the distance probably goes even further in the right circumstances. So I will show you the board inside. I'm just gonna unscrew these screws on the sides. Here you can see there's an OLED screen and two buttons. One for resetting the device and one for changing the little screen there to have some different information displayed. And maybe you can see, I don't know if this will focus, but it says GPS, so you can potentially connect a GPS onto one of these devices and you will be able to send GPS data. That's pretty neat. Oh, we're getting some god rays. Let me try to can we like block them somehow? Yeah. Okay, there we go. So first I'm just gonna take off the back plate so you can see the battery. So here it is. It's like an old Nokia device. That's pretty cool. So here you can see the back of the Heltec V3. That's the Heltec V3 board. You can see there's the antenna wire going up into the antenna. Don't power this Heltec V3 without the antenna connected, otherwise you will fry it. Just a heads up. Let's see it from the front. So here is the board. You can see we got two buttons, the screen, USB-C. So the Meshtastic Heltec V3 is a compact open source communication device that uses long-range low power radios to create a decentralized mesh network. It's built around the Heltec V3 board, which combines an ESP32 microcontroller, an OLED screen, and a LoRa radio module. This device lets users send text messages and GPS locations without relying on cellular networks, Wi-Fi, or the internet. It's especially useful for off-grid communication, emergency situations, and outdoor adventures like hiking or biking. With the Meshtastic firmware, multiple devices can form a self-healing, encrypted mesh network that extends range as more nodes are added. The Heltec V3 is popular because it's portable, programmable, and an ideal for DIY tech enthusiasts and ham radio operators. Once you have installed the Meshtastic firmware onto the Heltec V3, you can then download the Meshtastic app, which is available on Android and iOS. This is the companion software for Meshtastic devices, like the Heltec V3. It connects to the device via Bluetooth or USB and gives you a simple interface to send and receive messages over the LoRa mesh network, view GPS locations of other nodes on the map, configure device settings such as frequency, channels, power levels, and encryption keys, monitor the mesh network, seeing which nodes are connected and their signal strengths. It also supports group chats and device-to-device messaging. So the way you install the Meshtastic software onto the Heltec V3 is by going to the Meshtastic website. They will have a flasher. You just plug in the Heltec V3 board via USB cable. Make sure that it has capabilities to transfer data, and then you should be able to see your device connected to the PC. But if it doesn't show up, then go on the Meshtastic website and search for drivers, and you should be able to find the correct drivers you need to install onto your computer. I'm not gonna go too much into detail on that because you can find a lot of tutorials on the YouTube. Oh, by the way, my shirt changed in between that last take. Don't know how that happened. So I want to talk about the range of this device. Like I said, I got up to 1.25 kilometers by having one node at my house, and then I took this one with me in my pocket. It was connected to my mobile via Bluetooth, and I was able to send messages. It's like a messaging app, and what you write onto the app gets sent to this node, and the node will broadcast that message. You don't even need to have a mobile device for that. You can even have a standalone device which has a keyboard attached, and you can send messages right through that device. But that Bluetooth connectivity, that you can connect this device to your mobile via Bluetooth, means that these work without satellite, without the internet, all by themselves. Which means that if the internet goes down, if the satellite goes down for whatever reason, these will be still able to send messages over long distances. Potentially very long distances if you pair up multiple of these nodes. If I had 3 of these devices, for example, and they were scattered around the town that I live in, then this range would increase by a lot, which is pretty neat. There are lots of different designs for these, and lots of different devices also, which support the Meshtastic firmware. This just happened to be the case that I went with, because it supported the battery size that I had. But there are also lots of companies selling these different devices. And if you would like to purchase a Heltec V3 board, you can go into the link down in the description and buy one from there. I will get a small commission if you do it through the link down below. So the messages these support are up to 200 characters in the app. I think that equates to 200 bits of information that one message can send through, which means that they don't send very big messages. No photos, no voice, just text. And that's essentially all you get. But that can be very versatile in the correct scenarios. For example, if you want weather information of a certain location which is difficult to access to, you could have one of these devices with a part that can measure wind speeds, for example. And then this device could send that information whenever it's needed. You can even potentially attach a small solar panel onto these, which would take away the need to have it on battery power, potentially running indefinitely as long as there is sun, and most places have sun. This doesn't require a lot of electricity. It's a very low power consumption device. Some people have even called this the phone killer or the phone replacer. I don't see it exactly as that, although it could potentially be very useful in the future. But this only offers text messaging over certain distances. Right now, mobile phones are much more capable of doing pretty much everything, so I don't see these replacing phones anytime soon. But they're nice to have, like if you have a convention, or if you're going out hiking, outdoors, any kind of event where, you know, there might not be any satellite connection. I for myself was at a festival this summer, and there was very poor connectivity from satellite in there. So having a couple of these with me there would have been very useful to share with friends and to be able to contact them regardless of the poor satellite connection. So definitely there are very good use cases for these if you just know how to use them. It still baffles me how long the distance I was able to get the connectivity on this. It also goes over hills around the area that I live in. There are not a lot of houses in this area. I was able to get secure connection over 400 meters and even over a hill, which is quite impressive. However, when I went inside a grocery store, I could not get any reception there. So if you go inside concrete buildings, it's likely that the connection will not go through. I went under a overpass, which was built out of concrete, and I couldn't really get any reception there either. I had left the home node in my house, which might block some of the radio signal. The inside of my house is built from, I'm not sure, it might be either wood or concrete slabs, but the outside is built out of brick. So it did go over 1.25 kilometers despite it being in my house. It's also good to note that 1.25 kilometers was in an uphill. So I was walking uphill so that there wasn't a lot of houses in the way. Mostly just trees, things like that, but the elevation was going up, which is an important thing to note, because as soon as you start getting objects in the way of your nodes, then that signal receptivity will go down as well. There are lots of applications for these devices. It is just up to your creativity to find out those applications. Farmers use them, for example, to track cattle, to take weather information, things like that. And that's what these devices are really great for. I can't think of anything else to say about these devices right now. So if you have any questions, leave them down in the comment section below, and I will try to answer them there or in a future video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye. So this is me removing the support structure from my 3D printed case.